please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, good evening. Pursuant to Section 5, Chapter 231, Public Laws of 1975, this is to state for the record that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided to the public by posting and maintaining the annual notice of the regular meetings on the bulletin board in this building and providing a copy of the annual notice of the regular meetings for the year 2015 to the Glen Ridge Paper, the Glen Ridge Voice, the Montclair Times, and to the Star Ledger. We did this on Wednesday, January 7, 2015, and we filed said notice in the office of the municipal clerk. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Patrick?
Here.
Krasovich?
Here.
Lefkowitz?
Here.
Dawson?
Here.
Murphy? Here. Morrow?
Here.
Mayor Hughes is present. Mr. Mayor, you have a quorum.
Great. Can I get approval, please, of the minutes of our last meeting, which was on April 27th?
So moved.
Thank you, Paul.
I'm sorry. I think there's one item to be,
Well, I did the roll. What's next?
on the minutes.
Oh, hold on one second. So we got a motion to approve, right? Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
Second. Now, are there anything you want to get
Yes.
changed? Yeah, okay. What do you got?
I wasn't there, but I think the item about Glen Ridge developers, I think that's been referred to the planning board
Where is that?
on the third paragraph,
Third paragraph, first page?
first page. The Glen Ridge developers, lot 72,
Yeah.
property qualifies as an area in need of redevelopment.
Ordered the correspondence to be filed. Okay, so you want to say ordered to be referred to the planning board?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead.
you did get in a subsequent resolution.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
So we
I
filed
wasn't
the
there.
correspondence, and then we had a resolution, we sent it over to the planning board.
Okay.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Amy. That's a good catch. Okay. Anyone else? Any other? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Hughes? Yeah. Mayor Hughes.
Going back in
Councilperson
time?
Patrick?
You're going back.
Aye.
Krasovich?
Aye.
Lefkowitz?
Aye.
Dawson?
Aye.
Murphy?
Aye.
Morrow?
Abstain.
5 ayes, 1 abstention, no nays. The motion is carried.
Okay, very good. Michael, any written communication?
Okay, we only received one letter, and that was from the Council of Montclair Department of Utilities,
Right.
noting that we're going to have a rate increase of 10% effective May 1st, which will be in effect to April 30th, 2016. And they noted that the last rate increase was in 2008.
You know, I think we should note, Mike, that rate increase is affecting the pumping service that they provide for us. It's not an impact on what we pay for water, just on how the water is transmitted to us from the Wanakee Reservoir.
That's correct. It's, we purchase the water from the North Jersey Water District or
Right.
Wanakee, and we pay Montclair to pump it.
The last increase was 2008,
That's correct.
so it doesn't seem unfair.
And that concludes correspondence.
Thank you, Mike. Okay, we're at the point in the meeting where members of the public or visitors can address the council. We have two fine gentlemen here with us tonight. Which one of you guys like to?
I'm Ray from Rochester Towing.
Wait, please, Ray, please come on up. Give us your name and address and say
So
hello.
I'm Ray from Rochester Towing in Montclair, New Jersey. I've been doing the police towing for you guys for the last 26 years.
Right.
And I know you're doing, the ordinance with it.
Yep.
And updating that. And I just wanted to say, the different things that I do for the town. I work with the town. I work right with the Montclair Fire Department with extrication. I donate between 40 and 50 cars a year to the fire department for extrication. They use my lot to top the cars up. My drivers are right hand in hand with them, working with them, learning. And we also deal with the women's club. We run the women's club every year with the band, donate the cars, and for their PWI thing. And we do with all the police cars. We tow all your police cars and jump starts and tire changes and everything. We probably service 8 to 10 cars a week for you guys, and all free of charge.
You know, I think it's safe to say and fair to say that my understanding is that we're very pleased with the service and very appreciative of the service that your company has provided to Glen Ridge. We were approached by another met all of the required, all the requirements for providing similar service to us here in Glen Ridge. It had to do with proximity. I'm sure you're aware of the background on that. And we went through quite a lengthy process through our police department to make sure that the person who, or any other company would meet pretty high qualifications, I think. And the next step for us is to adopt a fee structure, which I think is what we're going to do tonight, right?
That's correct, Mr. Mayor.
But certainly, this development was not one that was brought about by the borough. It was,
Yeah, no, I
you understand, right?
I mean, I've been towing for 37 years. I started this, I was 17 years old. And, you know, we do everything we can to help you guys.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I really do. And,
So
and I can assure you, we certainly respect the service that you provided to us, and we will make sure that, as best we can, we'll protect your interests.
well, just this past winter, you know, we had a bad winter.
Yeah.
And, just this past winter, I had to have Bloomfield Police call me to come down at 3 o'clock in the morning to come and tow cars for them because they couldn't get a hold of this company that's trying to come in right now.
Yeah.
And they have that on record down there. I also have that on record. And, I mean, you can't get a hold of them. They're only as good as
Well,
people you can get a hold of.
okay.
Right.
Yeah, that could be for another day maybe, but today, what we're passing, sir, has absolutely no reflection on our satisfaction, the borough's satisfaction with the services that you provided for more than a couple decades.
Yeah.
So
Right, I understand. Okay.
So I want to I'm the chair of public safety, so I want to assure you of that, because I know the mayor has already.
Okay, well, you know, we tow all of your plow trucks, all your buses, your jitney buses, everything free of charge. You know, your dump
Right.
trucks, your backhoes, to your police cars, servicing, everything is no charge.
All right, so is all that included in the fee structure?
Okay, there's two. One aspect is the fee schedule.
Yeah.
So anyone who tows, it's on rotation, will only be able to charge the fee schedule.
Right.
If it's approved this evening.
Right.
However, contractually, this will be worked through the clerk's office and also to the chief.
Right.
Any service that the former or the current provider is giving must be met by the new provider. Therefore, if we're having a rotation, if we need a tow during the rotation, it's the other vendor, then that vendor should be running us for free. So they have to match item for item.
That would be cars.
Correct.
Okay, I tow your buses.
Oh, no,
That's not equipment.
no, whatever I said cars, but whatever the equipment is, whatever the vehicles, we would have the same expectation. So if there's a rotation, I'm not going to say firms A and B, whatever firm A is providing to the borough, firm B will have to provide to the rotation. So if we rotate, it'll be week by week. We expect the same service, not the same cost, in this case rate.
So is that going to be?
Make sure that machinery is.
Yeah, is that in our fee
Otherwise,
structure?
most of the stuff is in the
Is that our
wintertime.
fee structure? Or is
That
that
will be the basis of the
Yeah,
rotation.
the back
There's
is
two
a
areas.
hole or a plow truck that plowed a metal plate off the street that PCG put in, and they're sitting in a hole. That's a whole lot of money.
This fee schedule
You know,
is
you're
not for
talking
the borough, this
$3,000
is
recoveries.
for any type of private.
We have fire trucks that sink in
Right,
people's
okay.
front lawns from the water,
But,
that keep from that fires and stuff.
But I think you're raising an interesting point, is that, you know, we don't want to get less service as a result of bringing in another potential company, whether it's on a rotating basis or not. We don't want to be put at a disadvantage, and so we need to make sure we have all of these services written down so that anybody else is coming along and knows what they're getting into.
Exactly. When we haven't issued any permits for towing to another firm,
Yeah.
we're in the process of doing that, but there has to be the understanding that not only meeting the fee schedule, but also providing the services that approaches that.
And how would that understanding
Being
be?
conditions of the permit.
I just had an issue with Montclair State College, who I don't do the college, I lost the contract, and they were low bid.
Yeah.
And the person who won the bid doesn't have a heavy-duty truck, and one of their backhoes rolled downhill. And he had to call in Classic, telling that Patterson to come down with a rotator, which was totally overkill. But besides that, they charged him $5,500 that now Montclair State College has to pay.
Yeah.
And now they're coming to me saying, you know, what would you have charged? To me, off the street, somebody came to me, it's a $1,500 job.
Right.
They charge you $5,500. I mean, it's a little overkill.
That's a lot of overkill.
Yeah. And all my drivers are extensively, background checks on, criminal driving checks, I mean, for the Automobile Association of America. We've been doing AAA for 31 years in Glen Ridge. All your residents know our trucks. If a Roach's towing truck pulls in,
Right.
they know it's who it is. If this guy, Joe Chabot, pulls in the driveway, they're right away, calling the cops, finding out who are these people pulling in my driveway. I mean, we're a staple in the community. And we take care of people. And Chief, can I ask you one question? How many times have you had a problem with the car being damaged, something being stolen out of it, or one of my drivers having an argument with a resident over a period of time of you being
Well, I've been at the police department for 34 years, and I definitely even expressed this to public safety when we met at the beginning of the month, that we've never had a problem whatsoever. In-house, with, residents, with anybody at the police department, with your service at all. And I know Mr. Sobers and I have been talking, quite a bit over the last few weeks, trying to make sure that we have, both of us have all our ducks in a row, and I've definitely assured him that that is absolutely never been a concern.
And I've been doing Montclair for over 30 years also. You could call them and talk to the chief there, they'll tell you the same thing. And saying it's not relevant with what's going on, but I'm looking out what's for the
Sure.
of the residents.
But you know what?
We hear you loud and clear.
I have relatives
Right.
that relatively live in Glen Ridge.
Right, right. But you know what might be relevant would be to ask Roaches for a complete list of services provided. Do we have that? Do we have
Well, we know,
That would be inclusive,
Right.
not just what you charge to pull a wreck off the street after there's been a car accident. But what about also additional stuff that he's doing so that we really can appreciate it and we can insist that we get the same scope of work from anyone else?
And I'll be looking to the chief as part of the permit conditions of not only meeting the fee schedule, but during your week's rotation, provide all the services that are currently
Well, is there a rush? I mean, why can't we just, why not, I mean, we could put the fee schedule in, but we could table any issuance of any kind of permits until we get...
And that's not the subject of any
Right.
action this evening,
Yeah,
Mr. Mayor.
we're not acting on a permit, although,
We're not
as
acting
you
on
know, there has been a permit, application to us, and to the borough, I should say, and this is one process to be able to deal with that, but we're not going beyond that today. So it's a simple, legally, we must act upon that application. We have no choice.
Oh, yeah, no, I
So-
understand, but I just wanted to let you guys know, and
I can assure you-
I can get you guys
Yeah.
together and let you know.
Yes.
We're happy you came.
We're happy you came,
We're
yes,
happy you came.
yeah. And I can assure you, as the chief said, when we met recently at Public Safety, she gave you a complete endorsement.
And whether I have to tell him 4 weeks out of the month, or 3 weeks out of the month, or whatever, I still pay the same insurance, I still pay for the truck payments and everything like that. And then if you guys can't get a hold of this guy in the middle of the night, the weeks that I'm not on, I'm not gonna have another person on, because I'm not gonna be able to afford it. You're gonna pay your driver to sit there and do nothing, and then who are you gonna call?
Right, Mr. Mayor, if you're not on scene by 15 minutes after the call, that would be a negative experience, and that would impact your ability for another permit, for your permit issuance, or maybe the revocation of a permit. So there's certain criteria that the company has to make. I would expect us to lead to report to my office if that's not being met. And so if they don't show up within 15 minutes, that's considered a negative experience that should be reviewed either into renewal of a permit or possibly a revocation of a permit.
Okay, one more thing, Verona is having a real problem with their, I don't know if anybody knows anybody in Verona, but they're having a real problem with their towing up there. They have 7 people on the rotation list.
Yeah.
They have people coming from Wayne, which are 12 miles away. They have people coming from Parsippany.
Yeah, but we have a very strict, we have a rule, 1 mile rule.
Yeah,
1 mile.
Right, yeah.
You're also, your ordinance states that it's 1 mile from the boundaries of town, where it should have been written 1 mile from, or 2 miles from police headquarters, not the boundaries of town. Because, I mean, people, when somebody gets locked up at DWI, they can walk. I mean, they do. They come walking at the end and put their belt on, and somebody's back on them. And going from the town to town, you're opening up a can of worms where you're gonna have select towing in West Orange, you're gonna have twin towing in West Orange, you're gonna have Velez towing in East Orange, you're gonna have, there's 6 different ones that I looked up that are gonna be within your area, and as soon as they see this new guy come in, they're gonna say, you know, why can't I get it? And you're gonna have all these people trying to come in to get your, you know, to get
I'll
on
tell you what,
applications. There should be a
we'll look
limit.
at this. My understanding is that there's only 1 yard that could possibly apply for this, under the way our statute, our ordinance is written.
Absolutely not.
So we'll take a look at it. We hear you.
Okay, I'm gonna let you guys know all the angles,
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
you know, what's gonna happen is gonna open up Pandora's box.
Does,
It's gonna be a problem full of Verona, this guy, Jimmy Manson, I think, he used to be a dispatcher here, wasn't he?
That's correct.
And he's an officer in Verona now, and he's pulling his hair out of his head up there, his name's Jimmy Manson.
right,
And he's trying to get it changed in the worst way, because he's waiting an hour and a half for you know, for a tow truck to come.
Well, we're not
You
gonna,
can't wait an hour and a half
that won't
for a tow
happen
truck
here.
to come,
Right, right.
You know? All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Your Honor, Council President, and all of the council persons, I'm honored to be here. I'm an attorney in Montclair, and I've represented Roach's Towing for the last 8 years.
There you go,
A
okay.
year before he even got started. And basically, I stand not only as a character witness for the quality that he demonstrates to the community of Montclair, and over the years has demonstrated to the community here in Glen. There are some issues, and I listened to Councilman Lisovich regarding the other issues. Now, is it too late for us to address you at another time with respect to the distance from the police department or from the border? Is that something that you would consider, or is it too late?
No, it's not too late, but I think we understand the issue, and we can bring that up in our own meetings, in our own workshop.
We'd like to be heard on that.
You-
If it's appropriate, you know, if it is appropriate, if not, we can tell you the benefits and experiences that we've had over the years, with companies being a distance from the border vis-a-vis the distance from the police department. We can help you with that if it's not too late to be heard.
What's your sense on that? I mean, we're
It's not, it's certainly not too late to be heard, it's probably too early to be heard. I think we can consider that. Yeah, yeah.
So if you have information
Yeah, you
about
can talk out
location
loud.
of lots
We can talk out loud.
you could
The
just
que-
submit that to us as information.
The question I have is, could we legally do this now that we are talking to this other company if we changed the distance from police headquarters and that put him out of range? Would we have a real problem?
Yeah, yeah.
John?
Right now, if it's in the ordinance, then you're gonna have to go through the of the ordinance for adoption.
Right.
So it's gonna have to go, I guess, through the committee, and then you're gonna have to have a proposal and give notice of it. I don't think it was something that we would do tonight.
I don't think it would rule out the applicant for the other permit, so he would still be within,
Yes, you know, what we would do is rule out some of the other folks. Exactly. And if we were succinct in our arguments or our presentation, let us know when it would be convenient for the council to hear us, and we'll be back.
I mean, you could present information informally also.
I tell you what, we meet, the public safety meeting is the first Monday of every month. We plan on meeting the first Monday in June. If that gets adjourned, we'll let you know, but you'd be welcome to come at 5:30, whatever date that is.
it's in the chief's office, and if we need more space, we can use my office.
Okay.
And
We'd be
we'd like
happy
you to
here.
come and meet with us then, and give us a chance to do some homework,
Yes.
and give us a chance to talk amongst ourselves, but then give you guys a chance to come in and enlighten us as to what we might be looking at.
We'd be delighted.
Okay.
Or you could send it in ahead of time and give it to Michael, just as.
We'll meet, we'll have a meeting, and you'll have time to prepare for it, and nothing's gonna happen in the interim.
Yeah.
And, so So it'll give us an opportunity to look at it as well.
Anything that the chief needs, we have ordinances from probably 30 towns around to help her.
Well, thank you so much.
Well, would you also bring to the meeting a listing of all these duty or things that you do for us where
Yes.
you're not being compensated, so that we
Yeah.
have an absolute benchmark?
So you can make sure that they're gonna do the same.
Yeah, we need to have that. We want to mix apples to apples.
Yeah. You know, we
I'm going to work with the chief 100%. I know it's, you have to do what the law says. I'm a law citizen.
Yeah.
My whole family was law enforcement. My father was a retired law enforcement officer for 37 years. He went on in 1949. My brother retired 6 years ago, a captain in Montclair. And my son Stephen is third generation in Montclair. He's just went into the detective bureau.
Great, okay, that's great. That's great. So we're good then. We'll meet with you guys on the first Monday of June, 5:30, Chief's office, Public Safety Committee meeting, and we'll have an opportunity to discuss this at greater length, okay?
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I run my phone service like a police department. I make sure everything, all the ducks are in a row. Everything's on order.
I think you get paid on.
Well, I'm proud of my business. I started when I was 17 years old. I borrowed $500 from my sister Linda. I bought a 1957 International tow truck.
There you go.
And that's how I started my business, and I'm still in business.
Thank you.
Were you-
I must be doing something right.
You are.
Okay.
Thank you.
You are.
We look forward to seeing you, we look forward to seeing you again.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. And our representative from the County of Essex has some greetings for us. And then Paul, maybe.
If you don't mind, if I can
Yeah.
fill out a turn.
Good.
Jackie Eustine, 326 Washington Street. This Saturday,
Thank you, guys.
the Presby Iris Gardens will be open, and the irises are blooming, and there will be a festive party. There will be lots of games for children, and it's a beautiful garden,
It is.
and items will be for sale at the store, and I think it'll be a good time for everybody.
I think it might be a little early, though.
It might be.
Because
How
on
long ago?
Saturday, Susan and I grabbed some coffee, we drove to Presby Gardens, I kept telling her, boy, it's gonna be great, she said, I think it's gonna be a little early. She was right and I was wrong.
Well, hopefully there's been
But
some warm weather.
it's beautiful, and I would
and
recommend,
that maybe the irises will open.
yeah, yeah,
The cherry blossoms were a little late, everything is a little late this year.
there you go.
Also on May 30th, the county is having its annual open house at Turtleback Zoo.
Yeah.
The zoo will be open from 10 to 2, and everyone is invited. It's a lot of fun for kids because there are a lot of giveaways, a lot of games, as well as a great zoo.
Yeah.
And everything will be open and available.
How about the activities adjacent to it, the zip lining
The
and the
zip
rock
line
climbing?
will be there, but you will
Councilman
have to take.
Lasovich is really anxious
Have you done it?
to try the zip line.
Have you tried it, or?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
I'm going to pay for it.
Can we take pictures?
How can you turn that down?
It's free, it's an open house.
I'm
No, but
ready.
it sounds
No,
like
the zip line will be,
If our president could jump out of an airplane, I could do a zip line.
the
I'd
miniature
rather do
golf,
zip line.
the zip line, the pony ride, and the bird feeding will all have a charge.
Okay.
But the zoo will be free, and all of the activities will be free.
Okay.
And I just wanted to mention the Echo Fair for the last weekend. It was really terrific. Every year, I think this is the best one, but this one we attracted more people, maybe because it was nasty and people didn't know what
Yeah.
else to do. But it was very, very successful. We had great vendors,
Yeah.
and we all worked hard and had a good time, and I think the people from town and outside of town enjoyed it also.
You know, that leads right into my remarks, Jackie. I was gonna thank everybody who was involved with the Arts Festival and the Eco Fair for all the hard work. Every year it just gets better and better. Fortunately, we had decent weather,
Yeah.
right? Didn't rain, and, thank you to our administrators, in particular, I think Mike Zakelli and Mike Rohall, who spent an inordinate amount of time getting it ready. Elizabeth Baker and
Megan.
Megan Giuliani. They really spent hours and hours
Unbelievable.
putting it together. The whole committee on the for the arts festival through the high school. It's really it's sort of a signature event for the spring in Glen Ridge, and it's really very nice.
It's a great event to pull
Yeah.
the whole town together, along with the library, book sale,
Yep.
and plant sale.
Plant
So
sale,
it's
and
like
don't forget the
everything's
duck race.
happening, and the duck
Mhm.
race.
Don't forget the duck race.
So
Okay, well, thank you for that. Thank you for that. Jackie, just as a follow-up on the trees that you told us were going to be donated by the county to Glen Ridge.
Yes.
Have we had any follow-up on that? Have we?
Rich will be following up on that.
Rich will be following up. Do you have
Yeah.
any timing on that, or who we should talk to?
When I spoke to Sanjeev, he said if we give him a list of the trees that we want,
Oh,
we get to pick.
okay.
He will provide them. Now, I don't know exactly what the timeline is, but,
Terrific.
they're in the process of planting all over, so
Yeah.
I would think they have
We,
access to
I'll make
trees.
sure Rich gets it.
Can we get on top of that? What committee would be? Is that Public Works?
That's, Public Works and Shade Tree Committee,
Shade Tree Commission.
Commission will be.
Shade Tree Commission. Art, will you keep an eye on that one? Okay. All right. Okay, thank you. Jack. Okay, Paul? What do you think?
Thank you, Mayor. As I mentioned, for public safety, as I mentioned, we do meet every Monday, the first Monday, of each
Right.
month, so any interested resident could raise their concerns that deal with public safety at that point in time. We meet in the chief's office generally, although sometimes we do meet in the mayor's office, depending upon what our schedule is. For example, some of the things we talked about or considered this month were a speeding issue on Lincoln Avenue, so we're doing traffic surveys there. Striping of High Street, actually behind the middle school, potentially, and also traffic issues at Watchung and Glenfield. So we're constantly looking at things that are brought to our attention, so people should feel free to raise them. I do have a couple of ordinances and a resolution. So, Mr. Mayor, I have ordinance number 1628 that amends the parking regulations for the Herman Street parking lot for final reading.
Mr. Mayor, just to state for the record that this ordinance has been properly advertised and posted in accordance with the state statute.
I declare the meeting open for discussion of this ordinance, and only this ordinance, this being the time and place for a public hearing.
Okay. Yeah, this is an ordinance simply to confirm, to actually conform the ordinance to the signage that we have in the lot.
Right.
So,
Okay, since there's no one here, I declare the public hearing closed.
Mr. Mayor, I move.
Yep,
The
move
ordinance.
the ordinance, can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Stuart. You've heard the motion by Councilman Lisovich, seconded by Councilman Patrick. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Patrick?
Aye.
Pasovich?
Aye.
Lefkowitz?
Aye.
Dawson? Murphy?
Aye.
And Morrow.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays. The ordinance is passed on final reading.
Great.
Mr. Mayor, I also have ordinance number 1629, which authorizes the fire official of Montclair to enforce the property maintenance codes here in our borough. I have that for final reading.
Mayor, just to state for the record that this ordinance has been properly advertised and posted in accordance with the state statute.
Okay, I declare the meeting open for a discussion of this ordinance, and only this ordinance, this being the time and place for a public hearing. Since there's no one here, discuss it, council, anyone? I declare the hearing closed.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, I move the ordinance be finally passed.
Okay, David, thank you. You've heard the ordinance then by Councilman Lisovich, seconded by Councilperson Lefkowitz. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Patrick?
Aye.
Pasovich?
Aye.
Lefkowitz?
Aye.
Dawson? Aye. Murphy?
Aye.
Morrow.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays. The ordinance is passed on final reading.
Mr. Mayor, finally, I have resolution number 75-15, which is a resolution to establish a towing schedule. We discussed this at length a few moments ago. The costs for the particular items are all laid out on the resolution. And as Mr. Rohl, I think, pointed out, this resolution deals with fees that would apply to individual people in our borough. Any towing that's done inside the borough, I should say. So, Mr. Mayor, I move the resolution.
Can Can I get a second? Then we can have discussion. All right, thank you. Look, just by way of discussion, it would seem to me that a fee schedule should be inclusive of both external fees, those would be charged for the driver of a vehicle, and internal fees, those would maybe come to the borough. And if there is another schedule here, say Section B, that are services that are provided at no or little charge to the borough, why wouldn't we disclose that in our fee schedule? Why wouldn't we ask and make it clear to everybody what they're getting into? Because otherwise, if we put this in, and then we meet with this guy from Roaches, and he says, look, I'm doing all this stuff for free, and I want you guys to know that. I think that we would then amend our fee schedule potentially, or have another fee schedule we would have to create. Why not just make it comprehensive? Mike, is there a reason why we wouldn't want to do that?
I mean, we could do one of two ways, either make the permit condition as stated before, or we could just add it to the fee schedule.
Right, but now we're just creating more work for ourselves, right?
Personally, what I would like to see is amend the ordinance, and in order to be on the towing rotation, you have to provide X, Y, and Z.
Amend the ordinance.
For the towing
It won't-
rotation.
Oh, you know what, that actually makes sense too. It seems to me that we could look at it that way.
Yeah, in order to qualify for the towing rotation, you must be able to tow whatever, you could go through the vehicle besides cars, buses, trucks, other services, cleaning the side of accident at no cost. So I think that I would rather see that, because if you put in a fee schedule, somebody's gonna look at the ordinance and think they qualify and may be interested. If it's right in the ordinance, when they see what the conditions for rotation are, they may not be interested.
Sure. You have to define the scope of the services.
Okay, anybody got any thoughts? Does that then lead us to vote on this item? Do we table it?
Well, what you're
It sounds
suggesting
like
is,
it's leading us to table this.
What do you think?
I have a little more. Well,
Well, I think the reason we could have this before us is that a company that's applying for a permit at least knows what they're able to charge. They may be looking at what they'll charge private vehicles and not be willing to do it for that fee, or they may. So, but I think the first thing they talk with this stuff is chief. Any firm who's applying for a permit should know what the maximum fee they're allowed to charge. Absent that, they may try to, procure a permit.
So, but this is only half the picture, because
It is.
this tells
Right.
them what they can charge maximum, but it doesn't also tell them what services they would have to provide to the borough, and at what fee, if any, they would get.
So does voting on this make it inappropriate to then later go and redefine?
No, I don't think so. I
the-
think we could certainly, I'm just thinking it would expedite things to do it all at one time, but
I would agree to withdraw it. Or else we could vote on it as a no. It should be comprehensive.
Yeah, but is there any reason why we need to do this tonight? I mean, is there any rush, Michael?
If anybody would receive, I think what it is that the person that applies for a permit should be cognizant of the fee schedule that we.
right, so can I direct you not to issue any
You could do
permits
that.
to any other companies
Correct.
until we get a chance to
Yeah.
study this both at the ordinance level and at the fee level?
Yeah, because what I would think is, my advice would be is to amend this resolution with another resolution on the fee schedule, which expedite the process.
In other words, we were passing this resolution to indicate to the potential permittee, this is what you could charge if you were going to work in the borough. If you're not interested, then you would withdraw your application. It makes more sense, having now discussed it in detail, that we lay out all of the charges that we would expect that should be provided by
Yeah.
a tower within
I
the
think so.
community.
So why don't we table
Because
this?
if later on we say, well, this, and this should be at no charge, in effect, that's changing this. fee schedule.
Actually, by introducing it and then tabling it, you can still share that proposed ordinance
Correct.
with the potential applicant,
Yeah.
Permit
And then
applicant.
there was a question about whether or not we should amend the
Ordinance.
ordinance.
We could do that. That's a separate.
Well, I think we could talk that, I think we should
Right.
discuss that in public safety.
All right, so how about, can I get so we have a resolution, right? Resolution moved and seconded. If we want to table that, do we have to vote, or do we
There
just?
has to be a motion to table.
All right.
Need a motion to table?
All right, I make a motion that we table, this, resolution number 75-15.
Okay, Paul, are you
I
okay
don't-
with that?
I'm fine with that, I second it.
Okay, so we got a resolution to table, resolution 7515. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Patrick?
Aye.
Palovich?
Aye.
Lefkowitz?
Aye.
Dawson? Murphy? Morrow?
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays. Motion is carried.
No, okay, so it's tabled now.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, and Mr. Mayor, that's all I have this evening, and I'm sorry, I apologize, I must leave for
No,
another.
thank you, Paul, thank you for going through that with us. Okay, Councilman Patrick, we'll circle back to you, okay? We'll get back in order.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Finance and Administration Committee does not have a formal report this evening, but I do have a single resolution, number 74-15. Be it resolved that the following claims be approved and warrants drawn for the same. We have a current fund grand total of $2.9 million, of which $2.3 million is the monthly payment to the Board of Education, and the payroll is approximately another $400,000. And be it resolved that the Chief Financial Officer, Treasurer of the Borough of Glen Ridge is hereby authorized to issue the payroll for the employees of the Borough of Glen Ridge for the pay date of May 15, 2015. I move the resolution.
Heard the resolution, may I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Art. Any comments? Will the clerk call the roll?
Councilperson Patrick?
Aye.
Palovich? Is absent. Not present. Lefkowitz?
Aye.
Dawson? Murphy? Morrow?
Aye.
5 ayes, one not present, no nays. The resolution is approved.
That completes my remarks this evening.
David, 1 second. Mike, will you note the minutes that Councilman Sovich left around 8:10?
I have it with us.
Okay, great. David?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I have no report this evening.
Okay. Councilman Dawson?
I'll just give a brief report on the activities of Public Works. We also, participated in the, art fair this
Yep.
weekend, and, everything went smoothly as it was reported. We also now got 2 men working on weekends for, field maintenance to be, if anything comes up that, we're on top of it. But in general, the fields are in pretty decent shape, and, they're on top of it. So, that's the only other thing. We have the, bus service, and we still haven't gotten that new, roll-on truck in service yet. They're being, they had to build the,
Kathy?
chassis, well, the chassis came, but then they had to build the, box for it, and it's all custom. So,
Okay.
I think we're gonna get that, within another few weeks.
Okay. Just had a comment on large garden waste or debris pickup. It seems like we're a little slower than we have been, I think, historically in picking it up, and the reason for that is the very severe winter that we had, I think led to more damage to, say, trees and shrubs than what we've experienced in the past. And as a result, a lot of residents have been dragging it all to the front. Historically, we picked that up, but we're behind. And we're behind simply because we have few people that are doing it. And I spoke with, our assistant manager, Mike Kelly. I asked him to look into the possibility of contracting on a case-by-case basis, a week-by-week basis with another outside firm to maybe come in with a truck that could, grind it up or squish it up and get it out of here.
And also spoke to the owner, and the problem they're having, with the state of Wisconsin,
Yeah.
they believe the second collection day may be the better day for yard waste than the first collection day, because the amount of waste is being from the weekend to run a capacity problem, as they said they could handle on the second collection day.
Right.
So we may have to
So we just need, I just want the residents to know we are aware that there is stuff that's on the front of the house and that we haven't picked it up, but it's in a volume that we haven't experienced before, and we have to deal with it. We will. Just be patient with us, and we'll get it picked up.
Well, normally, we would stop picking up leaves, I think, almost right now, but I mean, we'll even get stuff out.
Right.
So I think just to remind residents that if they don't pick it up on the first collection day, we will pick it up on the second. Before, the previous vendor, they would not pick up on the second day. So if they miss it on the first collection day, we will definitely pick up the second.
Okay. So that's all I have.
All right.
no report, no other report?
Mr. Mayor?
David?
I just wanted to bring up one thing, and probably the Public Works time is as appropriate a time as any. Actually, Councilwoman Morrow and I were talking about this as we were exiting the train today, that the stairway leading up from the outbound platform is literally rusting away. If you look at it, so in other words, the wooden planks look solid enough, but the metal frame that holds them up has gaping holes in it.
Yeah.
It's really rusting away, and it looks dangerous.
Okay.
So I guess this is a New Jersey transit thing, but they really ought to be notified about it, because it's I hate to anticipate the straw that breaks the camel's back.
Didn't we, about a month ago, I saw several NJT employees with plans inspecting it, so I'll contact them.
Why don't we send them a letter?
I lost them.
We'll send them a letter, and we'll ask them to do an engineering study on the staircase and its integrity.
Is there any other parts of that you noticed? I haven't been down there.
Well, the other stairway is kind of on solid ground,
It is.
so that's okay, but this one is,
Ornamental iron, almost. It's almost ornamental iron.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you've seen it, but going down on the inbound side, the first two steps down on the right-hand side, that whole thing was lifting up off this winter, and you were stepping on concrete, which was uneven. So I think they really should take a look at those first couple steps down there, because they're really not sound at all.
Oh, yeah, the salt on the iron is not a good mix.
Yeah.
Not a good mix. Thank you, David, that's a good heads up. Okay. Councilman Murphy?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, just a quick update with regard to the pool house. It seems that we're under tight schedule, but we should be able to open it as planned for Memorial Day.
Right.
With a planned ribbon cutting later in the month of June. Regarding a comment that Art Dawson made regarding the parks, the Public Works Department has done a fine job. But the reality is we just can't keep up, and Carteret is a mess, and it's going to get worse. There's nothing we can do about it except allow them to play in the dirt, which is what they're doing now. And this is a problem that the mayor and council tried our best to address with regard to field turfing, or giving Carteret a bit of a rest out Washington Street, Washington Field, I should say, will help create a little more time for Carteret to heal, as long as no more playing time is scheduled for our fields. We just can't afford any more programs for the kids with the high school. As it is, I don't know how many more acres we need to fulfill the needs, but it's a chronic situation that could just make painfully more than we.
Yeah. Well, to Carteret, we were going to take a look at, get an engineering study and look at the irrigation on that field, right, and drainage.
And expanding
slope.
it.
And expanding it. So there are initiatives being studied that would increase the playability of that field, right? Over time, you got changing the slope,
Move the goal now.
changing the slope, putting in irrigation, being able to move the goal mouse from pretty much the same spot to be able to move it up and down. Those things hopefully will help. But you're right. I mean, it's a grass field that gets a tremendous amount of play. 7 days a week.
Yeah.
7 days a week.
Sunday, 6 different teams are out there.
Yeah, and I don't know about your grass, but in my house, it's started to germinate about a week ago. Seed that I put out in April. So, if it's doing it in my house, it's probably doing it down at Carteret Field as well. So, I mean, and these teams, they want to start practice in April, and they're playing on a field where if we seed it, it has no chance to really germinate and grow. So we're sort of we're at a very difficult spot trying to maintain a grass field at Carteret.
And the citizens of the borough made it clear they do not want it. It is what it is.
Okay.
That's it for Parks and Rec, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, we have the Memorial Day Parade coming up on, what is it, the 25th?
The 25th.
Right. Well, hopefully it'll be a beautiful day and we'll all be in our red, white, and blue. Councilperson Morrow.
I just have briefly on the Mountainside redevelopment update.
Right.
The H2M preliminary investigation report of the hospital study area was released to Glen Ridge and Montclair on April 30th. It is a very detailed examination of the study area, which includes 21 parcels in Glen Ridge and Montclair. The 109-page report with photos is available on the Glen Ridge Borough website and also on the Montclair Borough website. There is a joint planning board meeting for both towns, Montclair and Glen Ridge, scheduled for Monday, May 18th at 7:30. The meeting will be held at the Montclair Fire Department headquarters, second floor meeting room at 1 Pine Street. Parking will be free of charge in the ramp. At the meeting, both planning boards will be present. The public will be there to ask questions. Planning board asks questions as well. The H2M consultants will be there. In terms of, I guess, a sequence of events, each planning board will then make a recommendation to their respective councils regarding those parcels that fit within those respective planning boards' territories. After that, it's actually the more complicated phase will begin, and that's the actual development of the plans for these parcels. Excuse me, there will be additional public hearings at that point, but this first phase is anticipated, to be presented at this May 18th meeting. Any questions?
You thought the report was
I
really
thought
quite comprehensive,
yes,
right?
I thought extremely, very detailed, very exhaustive. They went through a description of each parcel and went through the criteria of the statutory requirements. Is it an area in need of redevelopment, rehab? Which boxes in the statute are checked? I thought it was very well done.
Great, and it's on our website, it's on
Yes.
Montclair's website, and the meeting is May
It will
18th.
take time to go through it, but it is,
That should be an
very
interesting
well
meeting.
done.
That should be an interesting meeting.
Yeah.
Really should. It's at the fire station
Yes.
in Montclair on the corner of what? What is that? Is that
That's
Pine and
Bloomfield
Bloomfield Avenue?
Avenue.
So,
7:30 on the 18th. There's a parking ramp, I guess, adjacent to the property.
the parking
The
garage.
parking deck, sorry,
Parking
and they'll
deck.
give out, parking passes to park.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Comments to the administrator?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Washington Field, its status report, is going to be done with most of the site work by the end of this week, except for the fencing. We're anticipating the turf material will start arriving on Monday, May 18th, and most likely we're going to have to prohibit parking on Baldwin Street on the field side for about a 2-3 week period while they're installing the material to the field. So that'll be
Will you tell the school, will you tell me, Lucy?
correct. Well, we have them parking on Baldwin Street, right? Not Baldwin, sorry. We have them parking on Highland Street.
Island Avenue, okay.
So we've had that pretty much off that.
And will you put up notices then, Chief, on?
Certainly could, absolutely.
Yeah, what they'll do is they'll move out the temporary fencing, put the no parking signs well on the fencing, and take up parking area for storage.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, and then on Memorial Day, we request that participants arrive at the station area, which is Sherman Avenue and Baldwin Street by 10:30. The parade, of course, about 11 o'clock, and then it's followed by a service at the War Memorial.
Right.
And then due to the Memorial Day holiday, the council meeting will be held on Tuesday, May 26th at the same time. That concludes my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Counselor?
I have no report.
No report. Chief?
Mr. Mayor, we just wanted to remind everybody from the police department that we have seen a slight increase in vehicles being entered, were unlocked, so we're not having forcible entry. And we really do feel as though a lot of it could be prevented if everybody just remembered, lock up your cars at night, keep your valuables out of sight. As seems to be that time of the year, starting up with the warmer weather.
We often see an increase in this type of activity in the warmer weather.
Absolutely.
Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Chief, one request from my wife. Bay Avenue, there's a pedestrian crossing sign at Bay and Fox.
The pedestrian?
Yeah, the
Okay.
pedestrian crossing sign, we got two, as folks are approaching from either direction. It's a highly trafficked, as you know, roadway, and, folks do have trouble crossing over Bay, their crosswalks.
I was there this morning. Well, this morning everything was pulled out because we're actually doing the construction there, so you have the officers, and that's an intersection that we do not have a crossing guard at in the morning.
Okay.
So is the suggestion about the sign itself and,
It was on the weekend
okay,
that she noted it, so that the signs, perhaps if they're taken away because of
Okay.
construction isn't being done during the weekend, they could be put back.
absolutely.
Okay. Anything else, Chief?
Very good, yes, that's it.
Okay, great. Any new or unfinished business?
No, Mr. Mayor.
No? Anyone from the public? Nope. Councilman Patrick, do you have a motion for me?
Yes, Mayor, I move that we adjourn this meeting.
Can I get a second?
I'll second that, Mr. Mayor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, the meeting's adjourned. Okay.
Interesting meeting. Interesting meeting. No, I can put that into a week, any couple of days.
You okay with that?
Okay.
I hope that